This is The Strange Recital, a podcast about fiction which questions the nature of reality.
One, half car. Energy was all ours and we burned it. We'd run down the beach, us girls, until the jagged water edge turned us back. We'd hop stairs to the roof and scream until a flashlight halted us. We danced loony at the worst bars until the DJ himself crumpled, hot, and finished. We'd tear up black fire escapes until the back of our throats were raw from hollering through metal. We'd just turned 18 and understood whatever games we shot ourselves toward, but these were the longer, sweet days before Jenny's dad did what he did. After Half Car came, everything shifted. Jenny's dad was a raging alcoholic and an expert welder. He'd weld things together just to take them apart. He'd cobble strange machines that had run all night for no apparent reason, maybe to mix toxic fluids or constantly shake a vat of oil needlessly. One night we got home late and Jen parked her blue Ford Fairlane in front of her dad's townhouse. Just before dawn, some hack slammed nuclear hard at the back of it. That car turned trash for no other reason than someone aimed their shit at it, no pity, as it sat under a beautiful elm, minding its business. The tail went accordion. Most would have deemed it R.I.P. on the spot, never to ride a legal road again. But Jenny's dad didn't see it that way. He somehow managed to hork it over behind the townhouse to his little carport. Then he lowered an asbestos visor over his eyes and aimed a slim torch with the hottest ice blue flame he could dial up. This was the afternoon when the locusts left their husks behind, when the sun was a goddamn bright beach ball in the sky, this never-again day that Jenny's dad went and concocted Half Car. The second your eyes got over how he'd cut the Ford in half, the hefty-ass trunk and gas tank totally burned off, you had to force your brain to understand what your eyes saw, more hysterical than words could paint. Half Car told an instant fable. Appearances are ridiculous comics of nothing. When we drank up what Jenny's dad had done, it took 20 seconds for us to ball up on the grass in halters and cutoffs to laugh hard, smashing the dandelions. Jenny's dad, in his wizard trance, connected an oversized portable gas can onto the wide-open back, totally exposed, right behind the still-there back seat. Of course we had to drive it 7 hours to L.A. There was no other choice. Our tan legs stuck out the window. Jenny's giant lemon-yellow puffball keychain swung vainly over a hang 10 foot cover on the gas pedal. We began to collect a devil's due. Mocking hollers gushed out speedster windows. Slaps of humiliation chipped our pride, our feminine shimmer. Mile to mile, Half Car changed the past. By the time we got to the Sixpence Hotel off the interstate, we became hot babes no more. The car ingested what we thought we were, made us over but good. Now, half girls with legs swinging out twin bed covers, we faked sleep next to the braggy clock radio. Eyes half closed, we got a taste full of terror, a rancid egg yolk over our skulls. The explosion came outside. 2. Violence often hides. The consignment shop is only a yard from vicious traffic. It doesn't seem fair the sweetness of so many ancestors and dear uncles suffer the exhaust. Flimsy tapestries, shaky wood shelves, a nickel cooktop, beaded wallet, a painting of postmodern ladies, fanning fans, all crammed up, orderless. I have an open wall that needs something. I shuffle in neutral and wish for what I don't know. A path winds through these mismatched histories. The owner wears army shorts and a thin white tank. His bony hands grab at the piles. He snatches at pleather, wood, and canvas, cranked all around us. His skin is alive and peculiar. An intensely complicated tattoo covers his face, neck, ears, shins, and arms, and I'm sure sweeps down to his dark inches. The ink is delicate and crawls over his body like a fine red lace. No macho flowers or smiling snakes, no Sanskrit, no philosophical quotes, no irreversible ex-lovers, only dark angel hair lines. They look like the fragile twines of an antique doily stretched in all directions to cover him completely. Jesus, he's stuck in a net. Whenever he turns, I avoid his eyes and look at his big black boots. He has no open flesh, not an inch of real pigment, no shine of plain sweat to commiserate with. I can't look straight on, but I feel his eyes beam, caged and frenetic. I rest my hand on a table statue of a fisherman with a bent spine. I move on to a black ashtray with yellow lettering, Belle of Baton Rouge Riverboat Card Room. I linger. He bleats out, "You want that one?" He hunches and lurks 5 feet away consistently. I answer to his boots, No, thanks." He floats a fragile nightstand up and away from a throng of love seats. I know why he's here. Clearly, drugs and heartache have obliterated his brain, now dried metal. He feels closeness from what's left behind by strangers. He lives for objects left by almost people. The ghosts that hover on the ceiling are his family. Yes, someone tossed him in a wastebasket before his first teeth came in. As a child, I see him weight hungry under a table, ribs popped. Anyone who would get a tat like that is mentally off. Maybe he was shoved in a real jail cell for years, and the day he got out, he made his own bars with the ink. Maybe arrested for squeezing a pure, clean throat. He starts to pepper me with points and chats. "If you like meat, a portable smokehouse just came in. Oh, be careful, that vase has a hole." His nervous system radiates and affects the entire room. I sense ripe anger, a pink shame lying in wait. I'm quiet. He shifts furniture away from my advancing feet. When he turns, I steal shots of the bright lines around his eyes. I spot the way it wafts right up to his tender ear tips. He doesn't wear body art well. His bones are too sharp. He must have been really conked out for that needle to finish. I glance across the crap pond to reboot my secret opinions. I don't see a thing from my wall. I don't like to surrender to stuff. I surrender to people. I absorb easy truths from bodies in public. That person isn't friendly. This person is sweet. That man looks rude, or that clique chats stupid. A casual grimace or a dirty look in traffic all seep right under my open skin. But when people disappoint me, I take care of them. I give myself over to this irony. People hook me with their worthy problems, their nagging neediness, their demands for praise, their right to abandon humility, their need to constantly outdo every other person. They suck marrow from the heart of my patience. We're pack animals, yet we separate ourselves with utter perfection. And what would spill out of him if I were imprisoned in this room? What rotten selfishness from this ruined ink man would I have to drink in? He pitches an embroidered stool to a patch of bald floor, just to clear space for my now fading hunt. "Sir, you're working much too hard." His green shorts tent on his sharp hips. Black Doc Martens, loose on his stick-shift ankles, are scuffed from kicking too many sofas. I try to bop nonchalant through a mirage of cigar smoke. I'm ready to bolt through the glass doors. I twist around to the exit. I'm mixed up between a hard deck of framed paintings and a stack of coffee tables. Ahoy! I see a soft orange flash about 1.5 feet from my sneaker. It's a painting, about 16 by 20. The schema beams like an ignored testament page. The responsible woman is penciled on the backside paper. With freshened wonder, I heave it up. The sudden success makes my head crane, without a hitch, to see him. I could never look otherwise, but I do look at him now. "Oh, that one," he reveals the sides of his teeth. Then he smiles broad. He stands a half an arm's length away, the crappy wheat carpet underneath us. As if in the harmony of a predestined appointment, together we fall into the wood frame. We see her tiny candle, a shimmering dot of light, as she flies wingless, burdened with responsibility told by holy pots and pans that swing heavy, hooked to her dress. She clanks herself into deep space, into the abyss of a black, loveless night. His long first finger points to a carved initial U on the frame. He stares evenly into my face, and his eyes sizzle high and clear. Now he stands so close, no word said. I am suddenly embarrassed. In a wave, I understand he's much more than what my brilliant mind calculated between scene and assumption. Then, as if to drive it all the way home, his hand scans the wood and oils like a magi, like he reads the picture through the heart of his palm. He breathes inward and peruses. He absorbs an equation, a quantum parable, a meeting of hair, breath, flesh, motion, and canvas, and then to me. In a flash, his gray orbs flicker insight, spun from his lively inner sun, cued by intelligence and life. I see he creates connections I don't understand, connections coiled at the end of his worthy impulses. I thought I knew him nearly as every inch, just like the ink. But his real history is undiscovered, especially by me. Through the lines of ink, he lives in this room, this big block of dust. And beyond my hidden lies of his buckshot past, he knows what's true. I see now that he knows very well. He knows I'm a martyr because it's right here on the canvas. Who else would want this work? And how I tried to cover him up with slurs, my slander. Who the hell do I think I am? So now, I am far less. I am not an educated avoider of others, not one who understands anyone or anything at all. I am the one who's starved. I wait hungry under tables. Now both of us at eye level, the ink spills away clean to a small, bright, ginger-colored boy. He smiles even wider. "You want this one?"
That was Tools of Consequence, 2 short stories written and read by Bonnie Lykes.
Hi, Bonnie. Welcome back to the Strange Recital after, what's it been, 3 years?
Hey, hello, Brent and Tom. Thank you both for having me on. It's really nice to pretend we're facing face-to-face right now.
Yes.
We just heard 2 very short pieces that would fit the category of flash fiction, if we were into categories. Do you like working in this abbreviated, condensed form? And if so, why?
So under the beam of a graduate program, I usually follow orders of word count. So that's my inspiration these days. But if I were a free student, so to speak, I'd go with the flow of whatever length is required to tell the story.
Well, by putting these 2 pieces together in this order, I find it interesting that a narrative thread is suggested that may have never been intended. The 18-year-old of Half Car, perhaps a bit of a wild girl, becomes the adult of Violence Often Hides, who learns a sober lesson about her own judgmentalism. So, are these two narrators the same character?
They're both me. Of course, the one in the thrift store is the adult version of me, the character. But these stories are both quite real. It's the endings that are fiction. I really did meet the intense tat-covered fellow, and I really did find that framed picture titled The Responsible Woman. But there was no shamanic experience with this guy except his big smile at the cash register. And as for the teen girls, Half Car, Dad, him being an alcoholic welder, our cutoffs and halter tops, all real. Even the trip to LA in the hotel, but not the explosion.
There's an atmosphere in both these vignettes that suggests the gritty fringes of society. A crazy welder, a tattooed junk merchant. More Kerouac than Updike, you might say.
Or more Dennis Johnson than John Cheever.
Yeah, so in your body of work, is this unusual? Or is this the milieu you feel most interested in?
I guess I've always pretty much been on the fringe, and thanks to filmmakers like David Lynch and Quentin Tarantino, outsiders carry a prescribed lore in our fragmented culture. I'm sure you agree. But no rebel is really the same, and that's their magnetism, unless they're obviously manufactured, like, say, David Lee Roth or Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Well, along those lines, who are your influences?
Ayn Rand and Archie Comics.
Wow.
I drank the punch with Fountainhead. It was a big classic read for me because it venerates the individualist. And then comic books, really of all varieties, seared my brain with a kind of cinematic animation that moves frame to frame. The story is both bite-sized and larger than life.
Some people might wonder what makes these particular stories of yours qualify as fiction that questions the nature of reality, which is our podcast tagline. Well, my answer is that the language you use to tell what are essentially realistic slice-of-life stories has an unexpected kind of even hallucinatory quality. So a sheen of the surreal is cast over everything. Is this a goal you work toward with rewrites, let's say, or is it more of a natural flow?
My subconscious takes over, and the boundary of wave to particle is naturally blurred. But I really don't try at all. Writing-wise, I think too much particle in the quantum field may be a bit boring, unless there's a good story lurking there. But that would probably happen with the finesse of another writer.
Has the pandemic had an impact on your process?
Yes, I've been too busy to write.
Yeah, strangely enough, I know what you mean. So I know in the past you've done a lot of performing, embodying characters that you've created. So is this still something you do, and how does it inform your writing?
No, I haven't been doing monologues largely because of my MFA process and trying to be a good soldier on campus. But my radio show, where I host other artists in the New Haven area, is a bit of theater, so that keeps me sort of honest as a performer.
Well, can you bust out a character for us right now?
Tom Brent, thank you for broadcasting my work on your program. I have a creative impulse to suggest. Just for this episode, instead of strange recital, how about exceptional recital or super recital? Something a little more bouncy and fresh,
Yeah.
Well, that definitely questions reality. Any writing works in progress you'd like to tell us about?
My graduate thesis, and that is a big secret. But thanks for asking, and thanks for having me on the show.
Well, you're welcome. And that's all we have time for now, Bonnie. And once again, thank you for your contribution to our podcast.
And best wishes for your safety and health.
Brent, Tom, thank you so much for all this unusual attention. My soul is utterly shocked.
Wow.
And I love all your work with this program. And thank you for creating this psychic space for all us weirdos.
You're most welcome.
Hey, Tom, I was thinking that I might like to turn my boring gray Hyundai into something more interesting, like a half car. Can I use your welding torch?
Sure, here you go. Hey, not in here. Outside, Christ. What are you doing to the mixing board? This is The Strange Recital, on the web at thestrangerecital.com. The music on this episode was Worlds Away by Audionautics. This is episode 20071.